We did how many rounds? We probably did at least like 8 straight.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8 too.
Yeah.
It was good. You're not in bad shape.
Yeah. Just got put up my mind.
The rematch between Lamont Roach and GervontaDavis has just faced a major setback after Davis suffered a hand injury during training. It's a similar type of injury that one of Tank's lightweight rivals and the current WBC lightweight champion suffered months ago, which led to a 4-month break for surgery and recovery. Davis had returned to the gym just as he promised, after his first fight against Lamont Roach, which ended in the first draw of his career. During training, Tank focused on improving his punching power, since his shots had little to no effect on Roach in their first bout. He had been lifting weights, hitting heavy pads, and working on the punching bags. But during one intense pad session, he punched so violently that he ended up seriously injuring his hand. He collapsed to the floor in pain and was quickly treated, with his hand wrapped in bandages. Now, the biggest concern is whether he will need surgery. If he does, the rematch with Lamont Roach will be postponed by a few months until Tank makes a full recovery. So far, 2025 has not been kind to GervontaDavis. His plans have taken a big hit, and that draw against Lamont Roach Jr. in March hurt, not just his pride, but possibly his future in boxing as well. The turning point of that fight came in the 9th round, when Tank went down to one knee and walked to his corner to wipe his eyes, claiming that grease had gotten into them and caused a burning sensation. Referee Steve Willis didn't count it as a knockdown, which influenced the judges to score the bout a draw. The result was controversial, as many believed Roach Jr. should have been declared the winner. The controversy only grew when the New York State Athletic Commission got involved, though their efforts to overturn the result failed. A rematch was rumored for this summer, but as of now, there's no official update. GervontaDavis has remained completely silent, not showing the open and expressive side we usually see from him on social media. Retirement has also been on his mind for months. Davis had even mentioned that 2025 might be his final year as an active boxer. However, he hasn't made any recent public statements about retiring. In this case, his trainer Kenny Ellis spoke to Mill City Boxing about the possibility of Gervonta retiring, and also about a potential fight with Shakur Stevenson. Tank isn't someone who's told when to move. He moves on his own terms. But that's boxing. Anything can happen. You never know. Tank might retire. We'll just have to wait and see what he decides. Kenny Ellis commented, "Whatever Tank does, I'll respect it. If he keeps going, he has my support. If he retires, he has my support." Those were his final words on the topic, leaving fans with even more uncertainty about Davis's future. That fight against Lamont Roach Jr. created a butterfly effect that's still being felt. With each passing day, the boxing world grows more anxious for concrete news about a rematch between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach. The highly debated majority draw from their March 1st bout, and especially the controversy in the 9th round, when Davis took a knee but wasn't penalized, has only added fuel to the fire. Now, a rematch between these two champions is one of the most anticipated fights of the year, and fans are eagerly awaiting clarity on what's next for both fighters in 2025.
What do you think about, Lamont Roach and Tank's rematch, though?
It'll be a good fight. Good fight.
Yeah. There were like some rumors saying that June 21st, T-Mobile Arena in Vegas.
I haven't heard anything, you know.
All signs point toward a rematch being on the horizon. The real question now is, when will it happen? Several reporters have suggested that June 21st is the most talked-about date so far, with Las Vegas being the likely location. However, nothing has been officially confirmed, so for now it remains speculation. Sources told show that a Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch could happen as early as June 21st in Las Vegas, and that both camps are now fully committed to making the fight happen. What is certain is that Lamont Roach has been very active on social media since their March 1st fight. He's done multiple interviews, sharing his perspective and actively pushing for the rematch to happen sooner rather than later.
I don't pay that stuff no mind unless certain people post it, you know?
Yeah.
Certain networks, certain people. And once they post it, then it's on. But other than that, it's just the internet talking. You know what I mean?
Tell me what state of mind is Tank now in?
Tank is Tank. He's good. A lot of
During his April 8th interview with boxing legend Andre Ward on the All the Smoke Fight podcast, Lamont Roach shared a positive update about the potential rematch with Gervonta Tank Davis. "We are trending in the right direction," Roach said about the ongoing rematch negotiations. "I hope we can make an announcement soon. I hope we have a decision soon. That's all I can say. But we are moving in the right direction," he added. Perhaps Lamont Roach's biggest mistake was allowing himself to believe the injustice from their first fight could be overturned, that he could still become a two-division world champion and end GervontaDavis's undefeated streak. But as we know, nothing of that sort has happened, at least not yet.
Especially like, for some reason, I haven't heard anything from this. But the only one that I've seen that was like quite odd to me, and I'm pretty sure you heard it because you're a fan of her, is Clarissa Shields saying something about Tank got evicted.
On March 1st, Lamont Roach and Gervonta Tank Davis faced off in an instant classic, marred by one controversial decision. During the latter rounds, Tank took a knee, which, according to the rules, should have been counted as a knockdown. However, referee Steve Willis allowed the fight to continue without any penalty, resulting in a majority draw. It was a bittersweet outcome for Roach, who had begun to believe he had done enough to win. A glimmer of hope emerged when the New York State Athletic Commission began reviewing the situation. Even World Boxing Association President Gilberto J. Mendoza backed the Washington native, declaring that the knee should have been ruled a knockdown. Furthermore, with reports and rumors suggesting that the New York State Athletic Commission was considering overturning the decision, Roach's hopes were reignited.
Did you hear that?
hell no. Hell no.
I said, that's crazy.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, she said it, and I haven't heard that from nobody.
No. If that was the case, it'd be out.
Let me repeat. I stand by what I expressed last Sunday in Ring Magazine. Based on my 30-plus years of experience, taking a knee without a punch should be ruled a knockdown. It affected the result of the fight, Roach said. But things came crashing down once again when the New York State Athletic Commission upheld the referee's decision, citing a technical issue that prevented them from reviewing the footage. That was another gut punch for Lamont Roach. He had hoped for a reversal or at least some clarity after being involved in such a controversial situation. But now it seems he's finally gotten an answer, one that he certainly didn't like. Recently, the 29-year-old sat down with Andre Ward on the All the Smoke Fight podcast, and as expected, their March 1st bout came under scrutiny during the conversation. Roach revealed how the officials reached out to him after the review, and he also explained how the referee's ignorant behavior left him frustrated.
AI crazy, but they've been jumping lately too. Whole bunch of different stuff, man. I be laughing my ass off.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Speaking of I seen Jalil Hackett's Twitter. He was talking about what possible.
During the conversation, Ward asked, "What was the reason the New York State Athletic Commission gave you for not overturning the decision?" Roach replied that, according to the NYSAC, a counted knockdown would have completely changed the fight, not just the score, but also the approach of Gervonta "Tank" Davis. If it would have been scored a knockdown, there's no definite way to know how Tank would have responded or fought in the remaining rounds, Roach explained. It was a vague statement, one that Roach, the World Boxing Association featherweight champion, had to interpret himself, and he did. What I took from that is basically, yeah, we messed up, but somebody's got to take the fall, and it ain't gonna be him, Roach explained. He further added that he believed this was the New York State Athletic Commission's way of acknowledging the official's mistake. However, overturning the decision at this point would damage their reputation.
Somebody got to take the fall, and it ain't gonna be him. So, like, they owned up to it. Like, all right, we missed this. They owned up to it. It's like, but they just saying like, all right, we're not gonna overturn it though. We're gonna apologize and give you your flowers, but you ain't gonna get what you want. That's basically what
They owned up to it, Roach said. It's like they just said, all right, we're not going to overturn it, though we'll apologize and give you your flowers, but you're not going to get what you want. That's basically what I got from it, he concluded. Though it didn't satisfy him, Roach felt relieved after finally receiving that well-deserved explanation, a clarification that will undoubtedly motivate him heading into the rematch. However, the silence from referee Steve Willis, even after all this time, has left a sour taste in Roach's mouth. He ain't making no statement, Roach remarked. Ward quickly chimed in, calling Willis's lack of action a poor move. He emphasized that officials owe clarity when their decisions affect a fighter's legacy, stating that at the very least, an apology is necessary to maintain fairness for Roach. While the controversial decision hasn't been overturned, it has undeniably left a mark on Lamont Roach's legacy, denying him a career-defining victory. Furthermore, as Ward pointed out, it has also impacted his bargaining power for the rematch.
And you ain't heard nothing from the ref? He didn't make no statement?
He ain't make no statement. That was, I ain't gonna lie, man, that was, from him, that's sad.
A lot of times that's what the commissions do though, man. If something bad happened with a ref, they'll protect the referee.
Yeah.
And they'll try to get in front of it, and they'll have a spokesperson come out, and it's like, yeah, that's cool sometimes, but if you drop the ball like that and that affects my legacy, my livelihood, because y'all negotiating for a rematch right now. So
how could anyone forget what happened during the March 1st fight? Honestly, what else could that night have been but the boxing world's version of a high-octane action film? One twist after another with no time to breathe. The fight drew over 19,000 fans and reportedly earned Gervonta "Tank" Davis between $15 million and $20 million. Lamont Roach Jr. walked away with a career-high $3 to $5 million for the draw, according to Forbes. With all that said, it's clear that this match had the potential to generate even more revenue, considering the drama that unfolded during Brooklyn. Fight night.
I was fighting at 130. Obviously, he was already at the championship level. He got catapulted up there by doing what he was supposed to do, knocking everybody out that they put in front of him. Got Floyd behind him. I was on the hush. I was coming up, though. He's a small guy. I knew he wasn't going to go too far. So, and I knew he can rumble. I knew that he'd be as... I'm not surprised at how good he is or what he's done to others.
While Gervonta "Tank" Davis has remained unusually quiet, Lamont Roach is back in the spotlight, confirming yet another rumor that had the boxing world buzzing right after the match. Trying to guess what this is about? Here's a hint. June 28th, 1997. Ring any bells? We're talking about the moment when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear in the third round of their fight, an act that cost him 2 points and eventually led to his disqualification after biting Holyfield's ear a second time. Fast forward 28 years, and fans were left wondering, Did GervontaDavis try something shockingly similar in the ring with Lamont Roach? Well, Lamont Roach Jr. is here to clear the air.
Ready for Jamel. He was already champ. He was like, I handle that business, man. You know, make some money together. So you ain't gotta tell me twice. That's how it's supposed to be. So it's just like all the signs was there. All the signs was there. All I needed was
A recent chat on Andre Ward's YouTube channel, All the Smoke Fight, Lamont Roach Jr. dropped something unexpected. The multiple-time world champion in 2 weight classes, Andre. Ward asked the Reaper straight up, "Did GervontaDavis bite you?" "Yeah, there's a clip floating around and it's got people talking," Ward added. At first, Roach brushed it off. He told Andre that after the fight, even his dad brought it up, saying, "Man, he tried to bite you." Roach admitted that he hadn't felt anything in the moment. He just thought he'd taken a few punches and moved on. But then, when he saw the replay, boom, there it was. If you missed the details, don't worry, we've got you covered with a quick recap. Toward the end of round 5, things got heated. The Baltimore native started talking trash while throwing 3 back-to-back left hands.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Of course, another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson, but...
Now that's crazy.
That's what
Roach then fired back with words and a flurry of body shots. The clinch followed, and in that tangle, Davis lifted his right shoulder, catching the WBA super featherweight champion under the chin. Roach responded with a quick right hand of his own. Now, here's where it gets even wilder. Around the halfway mark of round 6, it looked like GervontaDavis tried to bite Lamont Roach's ear. No one has officially confirmed it, but Roach watched the replay later and became convinced that Tank may have gone full Tyson for a second. Even legendary fight commentator Mauro Ranallo caught it live and made a reference to Mike Tyson's infamous ear bite. Roach stated that when he heard that on the replay, it hit him like, "All right, I'm not tripping because they saw it too."
that first world title. Or whatever the case may be, that can put me in that conversation. When he fought Hector, little do a lot of people know, I got the call for that fight too. It was a little crazy, but...
To top it off, even his sister called it out during the fight. Yet somehow, Roach missed it entirely in the heat of the moment. He revealed that his sister said something like, "No, I ain't gonna lie, I saw that during the fight." His final take. Obviously, he didn't bite me. But it looked like 9 times out of 10 he tried to bite me. And honestly, if you've seen the clip, you might be leaning the same way. On top of that, he recently revealed something else. A $40 million payday is not something GervontaDavis would ever consider skipping, yet he did. Why? Just a few hours ago, Lamont Roach Jr. addressed the rumors that GervontaDavis took it easy on him. He did so during an interview with Andre Ward, where the Washington native reminded everyone that Jake Paul was next in line to fight Davis. Only. If Davis had defeated Roach...
to fight Gervonta or Hector first?
To fight Gervonta.
If that
I was
fight
already
goes
the mandatory for Hector. They was looking for opponents for him, or whatever the case may be. It might be on the scramble, or whatever the case may be. They didn't get a big fight like they wanted to. So that's why he went to 30 and see if Hector wanted to fight. But I did get the call, though. And of course, we said yes. We just ain't get a call back.
So y'all was like a backup.
I wouldn't say a backup. You never know how serious it was. And like when it really when we really started talking business, that's when we started weighing our options for real then. Because I did